So it's really nice to see you, Lucy. It's really nice to see you, Jazz. Met your colleague yesterday, Simon, at another event, and it's really nice to see you at this event. So we're at Bradford City of Culture business dinner.
Yep.
You're here for a reason. Your reason is, a lot about how do you engage with businesses. So I think for us, it's really to understand, actually, what is it that you're representing, and what do you do?
I'm Jazz Hayre. I'm from the West Yorkshire Good Growth Programme, being delivered by Oxford Innovation across the whole of Yorkshire, or the whole of West Yorkshire to be more precise. It's a fully funded programme going across up to the end of March 2025, and we're looking for small businesses to support them in their growth plans.
My name's Lucy, and I'm also a client manager on the Good Growth Programme. The way I see it from my point of view is that there's an awful lot of support out there for the SMEs. It's just they don't necessarily know how to navigate the procedures. They don't know what help is there. So our role, whilst it's helping people to get onto the Good Growth Programme and helping them get access to their 20 hours of expert coaching, of helping them get onto the masterclasses, and we've got 2 online courses as well, it's also making them aware of all the different other programmes that are out there as well, so that they can access the help that they need to grow. Because we all know that the SMEs within the area, they are the lifeblood of what we do. They are the lifeblood of the economy. They're the people that sponsor the flower beds. They do the raffle prizes for your local school, fete and that kind of thing. And they employ an awful lot of local people. So helping to support them grow and help them with their ambitions is, to me, fundamentally important. I've run my own businesses in the past, and I just feel that sometimes we didn't, as an SME owner, I didn't know what was out there. So for me, it's really important to go out there and talk to every business. Whether or not they're right for our exact programme, we can find something for them, or we can at least put them in touch with the growth managers at Wicker. We can put them in touch with the adventure people if they're less than 3 years. There's a lot of help to be had. It's just sometimes they don't know the right question to ask of the right person.
Sure. So how many are there of you in the team?
There's 5 of us.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 5 of us because we cover the whole of West Yorkshire, and there's a lot of businesses to get out there and talk to, and we've all got different skills, haven't we? We've all got different backgrounds, which is quite useful actually, and we all approach things very differently. So I've got quite a few clients who are female-led businesses. I've got one, for example, who she's running her own business that she bought her brother out of, and it's a science tech business. It's really, really interesting stuff. I'll be doing a case study on it as well.
That's super.
And I've got a couple who are in the food industry.
And do they find you, or do you have to, reach out to those businesses? How does that work?
I would say it's a mix of 3 different areas. So the coaching colleagues that we have that are coaching on the programme that are bringing companies towards us. We've got really good relationships with the West Yorkshire Combined Authority SME growth managers as well. So there's a referral from them. Then there's business and networking events such as this that brings in the interest towards a programme. Just touching on the client managers, really, the really useful part for the businesses is we're going to take the burden of the administration off them.
Yeah.
And I think small businesses really struggle with that in terms of funding programmes and being able to do that administration as part of that funding programme. But having myself, Lucy, Lisa, Hannah and Sean as doing that administration really works. So I've worked in funding programmes before, and having that additional hand-holding support all the way through the programme as well. It's not just at the front end, it's while they're working with the coaches, and it's at the end of the programme as well. Really helps. I think that's really important.
Yeah, it takes the burden off of. So for some of the programmes in the past, I think it's been very sort of admin heavy, and I think a lot of the times the SME owners have looked at all the other things they've got to do in a day because they've got 942 things to do, and if filling a form for some potential grant funding is one of them, then sometimes that gets put to the bottom of the list. Whereas we can do an awful lot of the admin for them. One of my clients said the other day, "Oh, that's great. So there's no paperwork." I went, "There isn't a lot for you. It's a lot for me, but that's fine. That's our role." And it also gives them one point of contact. So if they've got any questions, and it gives the coaches one point of contact as well. So we've each got kind of a pool of coaches, and mine are my team, and we kind of, we have that level of knowledge of who they are, what their expertise is, and we know how each other works. So it just facilitates the process a lot better.
And is there any sort of, specific criteria? Is it any business that can come to?
They have to fit the government SME criteria. So it's less than 250 employees, it's a turnover of less than 43 million and a balance sheet of less than 37 million. They have to be based within the West Yorkshire region. or have a significant trading presence.
Yep.
So sometimes we have it where the registered address could be in Harrogate with their accountant, but actually they're trading in West Yorkshire, so that's fine. And without being funny, when I've had clients who come in from North Yorkshire, yes, I can't help them on our programme, but I'll help them try and find somewhere in North Yorkshire that can help them.
Sure.
So
just to clarify, Lucy, so even if they're outside of West Yorkshire, you can still help them?
I will try and help them find the funding within their region and just put them in touch with the right people, and I'll show them the right question to ask, because it's all part of government funding. And if you know how to search on the council websites for the right funding, then yes, they can't be funded under ours, but each council has its own funding. So it gives them the right questions to ask to the right people.
Sure. And is there a cost, or is it free?
There is. So the programme value is valued at £5,000. We ask for a contribution of 10% of that cost from the companies, and they can pay that either at the beginning of the programme, partway through the programme as well, after they've done some growth mapping exercises as well. So it's a small contribution, and the value, as I say, the value of support is £5,000.
And is that support over a period of time? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? Is it a month?
We're trying to get people through within about 3 to 4 months, mainly because it helps keep the momentum going and it helps them actually achieve their goals. We all know what it's like when you've got a project that's got 12-month deadline on it, then you kind of end up leaving it until the last month. So what we're trying to do is make sure that they actually get the benefit of the coaching program, because if they leave it for 6 months, then you'll only do the last bit, you kind of finish it off at the end. Whereas this way, by helping keep the momentum going, keep the movement going, we're actually going to start to see some real results sooner, and then we can start kind of helping more businesses get onto it, because we've got some that have already completed and they're all able to go, well, we've really experienced this benefit, we've had this growth, we've taken on 2, 3, 4 people because of having the coach in the business. So once we start getting that kind of evidence out there, then more businesses are going, oh, right, now I can see how that's really going to work for my business.
And do you have any kind of examples of a business that you've supported?
Well, I do. I've got one that's actually going on to the extended programme, because we have an extended programme where if there's a likelihood of more jobs being created, we can offer them for an additional £500 an additional 28 hours of coaching. So there are a select few businesses that can go on to that. And one of mine is a garden centre, and they're actually looking, because they've brought in lots of different elements to their garden centre. So they've got a butchery, a deli, they've got brought in an ice cream parlour. And by having an extra time with their coach, they'll be able to bring on an extra 5 people. And that is another female-led business. And it's a big family-run business, but it's one of those that has kind of grown over the years. And now it actually needs a little bit of structure. It needs a little bit of kind of strategy support, which is where the coaches have been able to come in.
Yeah. And what's really good about working with yourself, so you're here as Northern Powerhouse, part of the Ethnic Minority Business and Policy Forum, that real kind of effort to engage with diverse communities.
Yeah.
Why is that important to you?
Because everybody matters to me. To me, it's very, I suppose it's easy to sit here and kind of say that in a room with 3 of us, but every single business deserves the chance, and every single business deserves to know what's out there and get the support that they can have, whatever stage of business they're at. And we're in a privileged position because we know what's available. We know the right people to talk to. We know that we can ask the likes of yourself to say, who is the person to talk to? And it might be that that's not the exact right person, but we can help people along the way. And I think that every business deserves that chance.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Jazz?
I would say, there's a few examples in terms of 3 or 4, I think, minority businesses that I was supporting, a couple from Bradford as well, and from Leeds. And it's almost reiterating that point. It's that hand-holding exercise, raising that awareness of the programme that it's available, then hand-holding them through the application process, because they don't have time. They're busy. They're SME managers, they've got their day-to-day roles to do. And it works really well. And again, signposting to other programmes. So one of the companies that I'm working with, our programme might not have been exactly right for him at this stage, but he's going to be now working with a health innovation hub across in Huddersfield.
Yeah.
So there's 2 that I've referred on to other initiatives that they're not aware of in terms of within the region.
And that's really good, actually, the fact that, all right, it might not fit your programme, but you're there to support them, because at some point it might do.
Yeah.
So have you found that, when you have engaged with ethnic minority businesses, that it has been challenging, or do you feel, that there is a barrier there, or when you do get in there, is it been quite easy, or have you tailored the support so it's different?
Personally, I don't think there's any difference. I think there's less awareness within the ethnic minority businesses, and I think that's probably needs a little bit of support.
And that's why working with yourself.
That really, brings.
I'm just thinking that when you are there, though, do you feel that the support is are there any barriers for you to get in? Is there anything more that you can do to get in?
I've not found any.
So is it just more the introduction that you need?
Yes.
You just need to know that you're there, and then when you're there, they just think they're biting your hand off.
Yeah, and realise that actually it is as good as it sounds. I know that there's always that thing of like, it sounds too good to be true, £500
It does actually sound too good to be true,
you know. But it isn't, because it's funded by Combined Authority. So actually it's something that the Combined Authority have said, we really want to invest in these businesses, we really want them to succeed, so we're going to support them as much as we can. The £500 for me it's that little bit that means that people value it. So they've got to have a little bit of skin in the game, they've got to have something in there that means that if something's free, you don't value it. It's like, we've all signed up for webinars and things that we've not turned up to because they've been free. So for me, it's that little bit of actually, no, I will turn up and I will do the actionable things out of the coaching. I will make sure that I'm held accountable to it because I've paid £500 for it. And I think that is actually quite an important part of the programme. But I do think there's so much help out there that it's important that they know what they can, that they can access. And for me, the SMEs don't necessarily know where to look, and it doesn't necessarily matter what the cultural background is. There's I've not found any barriers in that respect, but I think it is just getting it out there and making people know that we're there and that it's not too good to be true.
And is there sort of, once you get to a certain number, that's it, the money's run out?
Unfortunately, there's only 288 places.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the funding is for 288
and where
places.
are you in that sort of, that
third?
About a third, about a third through.
So really, we need to get the message out there.
Yeah, I mean, I have a number of clients that I've promised that if we're getting close, because they're not in a position where they can commit the time to it now, which I think is a very honest thing for business owners to actually say. It's like, we know we need to do it, but we haven't got time because we're doing X, Y, and Z. So I've said, well, actually, I'll diarise to see you at the end of summer, but if if we're getting really close before then, I will tell you, so that we can try and make sure that the help goes to the right people.
Any final, anything that you want to finish off with that you feel that you haven't covered?
I think the only thing for me is that if there are any business owners out there who are considering getting a coach on board, they've maybe thought about it, but they're not entirely sure about it. This is a really good way of testing the water, of trying out, being able to achieve your business goals through using a coach. And many of my coaches are using this as a bit of an audition. So they are going to try their hardest to give the best return on investment they possibly can, because they want to continue working with the clients afterwards. So they want to build the relationships.
I'm just going to add in terms of any companies that are thinking of growth and thinking of barriers that are stopping them to grow, speak to us. What we're finding is companies have similar issues. So we can share best practice from Lucy or from Hannah or from Sean, and we can pull that best practice across the companies that we're working with. So we'll be really quick to share that information. So don't be hesitant in terms of asking those questions I might need some help in getting, my business to this stage. We will have the expertise and knowledge to get you there.
Super. Well, it sounds brilliant. So thank you so much, Jazz. Thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank you for your time.
And that concludes our little interview.